Let me ask you something. What if the difference between the life you're living and the life you could be living is just 1 hour, 60 minutes, 3,600 seconds? That's it. Not some massive inheritance, not luck, not who your parents were, just one decision, made before the sun comes up. See, everybody wants the glow, but not everybody wants to wake up in the dark to earn it. You ever notice something? The world's quietest moments are also its most powerful. Before the phones start buzzing, before the notifications flood in, before the rest of the world even rolls over in bed, there's a window, a narrow, sacred window. And in that window, champions are born. But most folks, they hit the snooze button on their life. They negotiate with their potential. They postpone their greatness because it's wrapped in a blanket called comfort. Let me tell you, comfort is a thief. It will steal your time. It will steal your edge. And one day, it'll steal your dream, if you let it. But there's a different path, a rare one, a lonely one. It's the one where you rise while everyone else rests. You get up not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Not because someone's watching, but because you made a promise to yourself. The moment that alarm goes off, you face a choice. Stay who you are, or become who you're meant to be. And that 1 hour, that quiet hour, that hour no one sees, it could be the hour that changes everything. You say you want more? Then prove it. Wake up 1 hour earlier and win. Would you like to move into the first main section from here? Or would you like to adjust or expand the intro further first? Most people want to win, but they don't want to wake up for it. They talk about goals, about success, about leaving a legacy, but when the moment comes to rise, they roll back over and pull the covers tighter. That's where the separation happens. That's where the quiet divide begins. Not in the spotlight, not in the stadium, not on the stage, but right there in the darkness, when no one's watching, and it's just you and the decision. You see, there's an hour that belongs to the uncommon, an hour most people waste, and a few people own. That hour is early, real early. It's before the noise starts, before the phone rings, before the kids cry, before the meetings stack up. It's the moment the rest of the world is still dreaming and the champions are doing. You think greatness shows up on accident? You think discipline just happens? Nah, it's built brick by brick in that hour. This is the hour of separation, the hour where the ambitious and the average part ways. It's where the hungry wake up, lace up, and step into their calling, not with applause, not with praise, just with silence, breath, and commitment. There's no crowd here, no camera, no one clapping, just your tired eyes, your heavy limbs, your inner voice whispering, you could sleep in. And that's the test, right there, that whisper, that temptation, that soft lie dressed as mercy. And what do the champions do? They don't listen. They rise, not because it feels good, not because it's convenient, but because they know this is the price. See, most people want to win when the lights are on, when the stakes are high, when the crowd is loud, but the people who really win, they win in the dark. They win in the morning. They win when it's cold, when it's lonely, when every part of them says, go back to sleep, and they say, no, we've got work to do. That hour, it ain't just about waking up. It's about waking up to who you really are. Because every time you get up when you don't feel like it, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. One more rep, one more journal page, one more hour of study, one more strategy mapped, one more battle won in silence. And if you string together enough of those mornings, enough of those early hours, eventually, the world starts to see what you've been building in the shadows. People will call it talent. They'll call it luck. They'll say, you're gifted. But you'll know the truth. It was that one quiet hour, day after day, that no one saw. That hour of separation. That hour of sweat. That hour of becoming. So when the alarm rings tomorrow, you'll know that's not just a clock. That's a call. A call to rise. A call to fight. A call to separate yourself from the crowd. Because champions don't just wake up early, they wake up different. There's something sacred about the early morning. Something untouched, unbothered, unbroken. When the world is still asleep and the noise hasn't begun, there's a space wide open, waiting for you to claim it. And in that space, you don't just get to set your schedule. You get to shape your mind. You want peace? Start in the silence. You want strength? Build it when the weights are mental, not physical. You want clarity? Then rise before the clutter sets in. See, when you own the morning, you're not just managing your time. You're mastering your inner world. You're setting the tone, and how your day begins has everything to do with how it ends. Most people stumble into their day, eyes half open, mind already racing, reacting to emails, responding to texts, letting the world set the agenda. That's how you lose the day before it even begins. That's how you give away your power without even knowing it. But if you wake up 1 hour earlier, before the chaos, before the noise, you get to decide who you're going to be that day. Not the job, not the bills, not the stress. You, that hour, that's yours. To pray, to meditate, to read, to breathe, to focus, to sit with your thoughts before the world starts shouting over them. When you do that, you start building a mindset that can't be shaken, a mind that leads, not follows. Because the morning isn't just about checking boxes. It's about checking in with yourself. Who am I today? What do I stand for today? What matters today? What's my mission? You answer those questions early, and you walk through the day with direction. But if you skip that hour, you drift. You let the world tell you who to be. You react instead of create. You survive instead of lead. And let's be clear, owning your mind doesn't mean you'll never have fear, never have doubt, never face pressure. But it means you'll be ready when it shows up, because you trained for it before the sun came up. You prepared in silence for a world that's always loud. There's power in repetition. And when you give yourself that hour every morning, over and over, your mind gets sharper, stronger, clearer. You stop second guessing. You start commanding your life instead of coping with it. People will notice the difference. They'll ask, what changed? And you'll know. It wasn't a breakthrough moment. It wasn't some lucky event. It was a quiet morning, then another, and another. You don't get to control everything that happens to you today, but you do get to control how you show up. And that control is won, not in the middle of the day, not when the pressure hits, but right there in that first hour. So ask yourself, do you own your morning? Because if you don't, someone else will. And if they own your morning, they'll own your mind. But if you own it, there's nothing this world can throw at you that you won't be ready for. Everybody's looking for that one big break, the moment that changes everything. The opportunity, the spotlight, the applause. But the truth, the people who actually get those moments, they built them. And they didn't build them in one giant leap. They built them brick by brick, day by day, win by win, small wins. You wake up early. That's a win. You make your bed, another win. You drink that water, hit that workout, open that book. Win, win, win. They may look small from the outside, insignificant even, but those tiny actions are training your mind, your body, your spirit. Every time you follow through, especially when you don't feel like it, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to become. That's discipline. And discipline compounds. It's not sexy, it's not loud, it doesn't make headlines, but that's what makes it powerful. Because the world isn't watching when you're choosing to stay on track, but your future is. Your future is watching every move you make in the shadows. And what you do in the shadows, that's what builds the light. Most people want to feel motivated. They wait for the mood, the hype, the emotion. But motivation is loud and temporary. Discipline is quiet, but it lasts. And it starts small. You want to become someone who shows up for the big things, then show up for the little things, every day. When you wake up an hour earlier, you don't just gain time, you gain momentum, and momentum is everything. You ever try to stop a rolling train? Can't do it easily. Why? Because it's built up speed, energy, force. That's what small wins do. They turn your day from something you endure into something you drive. Stack enough small wins, and you start to feel different. You start walking taller, talking sharper, thinking clearer. You begin to trust yourself. And that's the secret. Not being perfect, being consistent. The world respects discipline because it's rare. Because most people quit. Most people give up when it gets boring. But the few who don't, the few who wake up and grind when no one's clapping, they win not just once, but again and again and again. Because every early morning is a decision. Every time you choose the workout over the excuse. Every time you choose the effort over the comfort. Every one of those choices stacks. They don't disappear, they build. And over time, the gap between you and everybody else, it grows. They'll wonder how you did it. They'll call it talent, luck, timing, but deep down, you'll know it was the small wins, that extra hour, that consistent choice, that voice in your head that said, we don't quit. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being faithful to the little things. Because if you can win the small, you'll own the big when it comes. So don't chase the breakthrough. Become the person who's ready for it by stacking the small wins, one silent victory at a time. Every day, the world is waiting to pull you in 100 directions. Messages, emails, notifications, expectations. From the moment the sun rises, life starts making demands, and if you're not ahead of it, you'll spend the whole day reacting instead of building. That's why the early morning matters. That's why you wake up before the world gets its hands on you. Because if you don't create space to build your vision, someone else will use your time to build theirs. There's a reason the greatest minds, the top performers, the real doers, wake up early. It's not just about getting ahead on a to-do list. It's about guarding their purpose. That quiet hour before the noise, that's prime time. That's your laboratory. That's your sanctuary. That's when you build. It might be a business. It might be your body. It might be a book, a plan, a prayer. It might be your mind. Whatever it is, you put your hands on it before the distractions come knocking. Because once the day starts, it becomes a fight. A fight for focus. A fight for intention. You spend the day defending your energy instead of directing it. But if you get up before the rest, you go on offense. You strike first. You set the pace. You choose you. Most people give their best energy to their jobs, their bosses, their inboxes. By the time they get to their dreams, they're too tired, too drained, too distracted. And slowly that dream starts to fade, not because it wasn't worth it, but because it never got your best. You wake up 1 hour earlier, you flip that script. You give your dream the best of you, not the leftovers. You create before you consume. You invest before you react. That 1 hour becomes a fortress around your goals. No emails, no scrolling, no noise. Just work. Just purpose. And the best part, that energy carries. You start the day as a builder, not a bystander. And when you move into the rest of your life, you walk with clarity. You walk with direction. Because you already handled what matters. You already sowed into something bigger than the busy. It's easy to say, I don't have time. But time doesn't just show up. You don't find time. You take it. You make it. You protect it. So if it matters to you, build it early. If it's important, touch it while the rest of the world is asleep. Because there's freedom in that hour. There's no pressure, no audience, no performance. Just you, raw and focused. Distraction is the enemy of progress. But discipline, early, quiet, undistracted discipline, that's the secret weapon. That's how you carve out progress when everyone else is still dreaming about it. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings and your bed begs you to stay, remember this, your dream is waiting. But it won't wait forever. Build before the world distracts you. And soon enough, the world will have no choice but to pay attention to what you've built. Everybody says the same thing when they're running out of steam. I just don't have time. But let me tell you the truth. Time is not something you find. It's something you take. It doesn't sit around waiting to be discovered. It's not hiding under a rock or lost in your calendar. It's right there in front of you, every single day. And the people who win, they're the ones who take it, deliberately, aggressively, without apology. You don't need more hours. You need more ownership. There's no magic coming to rescue you. No perfect moment that's going to open the door wide. If you want it, whatever it is, you're going to have to carve out space for it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. You want to change your life? Change your schedule. Wake up earlier, go to bed later, shut down distractions, create margin where none exists. Because here's the hard truth. If you don't control your time, something else will. Someone else will. The job, the emails, the endless scrolling, the opinions, the obligations, everything will pull at you until there's nothing left for you. And that's how people lose themselves. Not in one catastrophic decision, but in 1,000 tiny compromises of time. So you have to reclaim it. With fire, with intention, with discipline. That early hour in the morning, that's not just a quiet time slot, it's a battlefield. It's you versus excuses, you versus comfort, you versus the version of you that keeps settling. And every time you choose to rise, every time you take that hour instead of giving it away, you send a message to your future. I'm serious about this. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more saying someday, because someday never shows up for people who don't act today. Time is the most valuable thing you've got. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose opportunity and another might come, but lose time, it's gone, forever. You have to decide that your vision is worth interrupting your comfort, that your dream deserves more than your leftovers, that 1 hour a day, taken with full intensity, is better than waiting for 10 hours you'll never get. And don't get it twisted. People will question you. They'll say, "Why are you waking up so early? Why are you grinding so hard?" And you'll smile because you know what they don't. You're not chasing time. You're taking it, owning it, using it to build something they can't even see yet. Every minute you claim back, every hour you protect, is another brick in the life you're building, piece by piece, quietly, relentlessly. So tomorrow, when the alarm goes off, don't roll over and wait for time to find you. Get up, stand up, and take what's yours. You've heard the words. You felt the call. So now the question is simple. What are you going to do about it? Because this isn't just about waking up early. It's not about routines or schedules or checking off boxes. This is about who you're becoming. This is about stepping into the life that's waiting on the other side of your excuses. Every morning you face a decision. Stay the same or rise. Delay your greatness or demand it. Hit snooze on your dream or wake up and chase it. 1 hour earlier. One choice repeated. One commitment kept. That's all it takes. You do that day after day, month after month, and something shifts. Not just in your schedule, but in your soul. You stop reacting to life and start leading it. You stop watching others win and start becoming the one who does. Let the world sleep on their potential. But not you. You've got work to do. A purpose to fulfill. A legacy to leave. So tomorrow morning, when it's dark, when it's cold, when every part of you says stay in bed, remember this. Champions aren't made when it's easy. They're made when it's hard. And they rise anyway. Wake up 1 hour earlier and win the day before it even starts. Because the life you want, it's not waiting for you tonight. It's waiting for you at sunrise. Now go get it.